how's it going? It's Jessie from Jessie Marita Stuff, coming to you on this very unusual for me Tuesday, May 7th, 2019, with my next update. Yep, it's Tuesday, and that is highly unusual for me. If I don't film on my scheduled day, then I'm usually late, or I miss the video entirely, but here we are a day early. However, it's totally and completely intentional. Over the last few days, I've been checking out the forecast for various reasons, but one of them is being film days. And although there's been some fluctuation, the one thing that has stayed consistent that I'm pretty sure the meteorologists are pretty certain of is that it's probably going to rain starting tonight through about this time next week. So I really liked last week's video with the natural light that we were getting, and I didn't want to mess with it, so I was like, well, maybe I'll film on Tuesday, because it's beautiful today. And then I was thinking, it's a really great opportunity, because what I show you today versus what I would show you tomorrow, I don't imagine there's going to be that much of a difference between the two. So I just thought, take advantage. Y'all will get me a day early. Hope that's cool. Y'all are going to get me a day early, and this is going to be a real fast video. I just don't have as much to talk about as I have recently. Famous last words. But I have a few things that I've worked on, including a big finish. 95.5% of you probably know already about it, but that's okay. I have some stash acquisitions and a very sweet gift that I received, and one project in knitting. Just one. Just the one that I didn't show you guys last time. But no books, because I'm not talking about those unless I have something finished, and I didn't progress hardly at all on my other knits. Not enough to warrant showing them here today. So this is going to be a quick one, as it should be. The last time I filmed was Thursday. Yeah, so real quick turnaround here. So here we go. And no Q&A, so let's just dive right on in and get started talking about whips. My whips are going to be very one note. That's funny. Okay, so let's get started talking about works in progress. And the first thing we're going to talk about is a big old finish. So I'm going to jog your memories a little bit. Do y'all remember when I said this? And I laughed so hard at a day and a half. I laughed real hard at 4 days. Yeah. So joke's on me. Yeah. Okay. So here's what happened. Last week, MonochroMaynia got started. Okay, Mania got started, but my MonochroMaynia got started. And I asked everybody to sort of guess, how long do you think it's going to take me to finish this thing? And I know that at least 3 people, Wendy, Cassie, and Annette, said 4 days. And I thought y'all were off your heads. I thought you were out of your minds. I was like, well, great, guys. That's, yeah. I was like, there's no way. There's just no way. There's no way. But then it got in my head as like this challenge. Like, could I do it? Could I finish it in 4 days? I knew that Friday was going to be a limited stitch day because Danny and I had date night. But then Saturday, Danny was going to go play board games with his brother and leave me to stitch. So I wondered. I wondered if it was possible. And I sat down to stitch at about 2 in the afternoon on Saturday. And at 11:56, I think it was, at least that was the time that I saw, I finished. So, project in question. Let's go there. Opus 2 by Long Dog Samplers, aka Maggie. So last year, my MonochroMaynia project took me 30 days to finish, and this took 4. This is wild to me, but I'm so excited about it. I'm so excited. So, big reveal time. 32 count linen in Oyster from MCG Textiles. I am relieved to put this in my review and to never have to do this again. Thread is DMC 924. And I'll just pan up slow. I can't see through this linen, so I'm going to peek around the corner. Make sure you guys can see the whole thing. She's done. Oh, these big finishes, man. I've talked about it before, but they are something special. Big finishes, they just mean a whole lot. And I really love how this turned out. Okay, so let's go over all of the things. I estimate, I don't know this for certain, but February 5th, 2015 is the record that I have. Who knows if that's accurate? That was before I was posting to Instagram regularly. That was before I kept track of these things almost obsessively. But I'm estimating February 5th. I am also estimating a total of 56 days to stitch it. Again, I didn't track these things before 2017, so I don't know for certain. But I guess that I put in 2 weeks in 2015 and another 2 weeks in 2016. But who knows? Who knows? It could be more or less than that. So about 56 days total in the last 4+ years. This is my first Long Dog Samplers. And she's nicknamed Maggie because my friend Jennifer, she's the Winter Stitcher on Instagram. For a long time, she always voted for this piece. If y'all know, I've got some indecision. And if I ever posted and asked for people's opinions on what I should work on, she always says this. And said, I suppose. That's sad. So she has a dog named Maggie, and so I named this piece after Maggie. You won't find my signature in this one because I chose not to do it. This one has built-in stuff for your initials and the year. An Anno year. JMS it's kind of dual purpose. It is either my initials or it is Jen and Maggie's, like possessive S, just as an homage to them. And this little doggy over here is named Maggie because of course. So what I had to do for MonochroMaynia, I'm a little shaky today, guys, I'm sorry. I had to do this motif and this one and a couple of little things over here. And then this one here with the deer on the top. This one, arguably my favorite. That took 4 hours, which it shouldn't have, but it did. And this one here, and then some little bits. So at 11:45, I finished up this motif and I was like, all right, cool, I'm done. And then I was like, wait a second, there's other things I have to do. So real quick, in 15 minutes, because all of a sudden I was determined to get it done in 4 days Eastern, and not a minute later. So I still had to backstitch these butterflies here, as well as this one up here. And then I had to come in and put in the last 2 digits of the year, because I left that blank until the actual finish year. I'm really glad I did that because I almost filled it in back in 2017. So, yeah, I'm really glad I waited. And so yeah, there she is. She's all done. 924, people ask me often why I chose that thread. The story that I have told over the years is that I needed 924 for Frosty Knot Garden. I was being lazy, so I ordered it from Amazon. Turns out I ordered a box, so I had 10 skeins just laying around. So when I had the urge to start a long dog, I thought, okay, that'll work. And in 4 days, she was done. I can't believe that this is done. I told Jemima that I got up Sunday morning and I wanted to work on this. And I went, oh, yeah, that's done. So she needs a bath and an iron, and I am frame shopping. I'm going to frame her myself because I think this one would be all right to frame myself. I think I can manage it. So I'm on the hunt for a big old frame. And then Arlene asked to see her at Jersey, so she'll go with me to Jersey. And I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm sad also, not gonna lie. I took some, not a whole ton of pictures during the progression of the 4 days that it took to finish this. So I will insert that here so that you guys can see how she grew over those 4 days. Before I wax poetic too long on that, let's keep moving. After the big finishes, I always have this big finish hangover, indecision issue, what have you. However, I got up on Sunday and I already knew what I was going to be working on because hashtag for the thrones now. And it was a really great project to work on that day because I had every intention of going to the DC area Metro Stitchers meetup. It being a one-color project, it would have been perfect for that setting. However, yours truly did not get to go to said DC area Metro Stitchers meetup because Virginia pollen season is upon us. And I had 2 swollen eyelids. Super cute, let me tell you. So yeah, twice in 2 weeks, I had one very swollen eyelid and one very slightly, but nonetheless, what that meant was I was not driving with all that going on. So I didn't get to go and I was super bummed. But I had a project to stitch on. Now, big finish hangover, swollen eyelids, a 2-hour nap. Call it what you will. I didn't stitch a whole lot on Sunday, but that's okay. I'm okay with it because I only worked on this one project and I stitched the day after a big finish, so it's a win-win for me. Okay, so this is my Stark House banner. The designer is Lolita Made. She is on Etsy, and here's where I got to. This fabric here is 32 count Belfast in Valyrian steel from Hand Dyed Fabrics by Stephanie. And the thread I'm using is DMC 762. So what I accomplished was I finished this border and this single stitch border. It's ugly. I'm not bringing it in close. My stitches look terrible. That's how I feel about single stitch borders. And then I got started down here. I finished is, which I changed a little bit because the S as charted looked like an 8. So I changed it just a little bit so that it looks like a Z more now, but it's closer to an S. And then started on this center medallion motify thing. But that's it. That's all I got done before the episode. While I was stitching on Sunday, I spent most of the day trying to figure out what was next. Because technically, I finished Mania. I mean, I set my one goal and I reached it way fast. Too fast, maybe. So I was kind of at a loss for what to do next. I know that I talked about Queen Anne's lace being after Opus 2, but I wasn't entirely feeling that. I wasn't entirely ready for that just yet. I don't know why. I don't have any reasons. I'm just saying I wasn't ready yet. So I had a look at what I wanted to work on. I kind of have this thing of if I set a goal and I reach it, then I do what I want. And this is something that I wanted to work on. And so I have decided that this is my next MonochroMaynia focus project. Seems kind of strange to say MonochroMaynia, but I have multiples, but whatever. I'm making it work. So that project is Halloween Jack Sewing Roll by Stacey Nash Primitives. I showed this to you guys last week, and I talked about how the next time I worked on it, I was going to work on it until finished. Well, here we are. I'm going to work on it until finished. So I posted about this yesterday on Instagram. I was going to keep it a secret until I filmed, but I posted about it, and Cassie, in true Cassie form, said 2 days. Cassie, I don't think 2 days is going to happen. I just don't think it's possible. Because I'm filming today, that's just going to interrupt things. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm not ruling it out entirely because I ruled 4 days out entirely, and you see where that got me. So we'll see. Anyway, so here is what I have gotten after stitching yesterday and a little bit this morning. The fabric here is a 32 count Belfast in Claire by Hand Dyed Fabrics by Stephanie. And the thread is Anchor Black. And y'all can see I did this bit here. I brought this border over and down. I started on the goat, and then just this morning I was working on that bottom border there. And this, as is to be expected, stitches up real fast. I mean, it's monochrome and it's a loop start thread, so it goes real fast. And I use my same method of parking the thread out of my way and then weaving it a bunch at a time. So yeah, I mean, it goes considerably fast, and I super love working on it. So I think that a finish I think tomorrow. Cassie, let's meet somewhere in the middle. I think tomorrow I will get this finished, and I'm so excited about it. So that will be another Stitch 9 finish. It will be another Year of Whips finish. Yeah, I'm really, really geeked to have this finished. A little sad I won't be working on it anymore because that's how I feel about just about everything that I work on, but nonetheless. So that will help us segue into plans real easy. I'm going to work on it until finished. So while I'm stitching yesterday, I'm sitting here thinking, MonochroMaynia, one project. Monochrome, one color. MonochroMaynia. So I guess I'm doing MonochroMaynia. It's very strange and cheesy, and it's me. So y'all just go with it, okay? Just go with it. So I'm having MonochroMaynia. So after that, what's next? I don't have any other monochrome pieces to work on to the finish. The only other monochrome piece that I have in my 2019 whips is huge. It's Hand Blessings Scary Night 2 that I started at Stitch Fest last October. And I think I maybe have 100 stitches into it. It's massive, and it's never going to get done before the end of the month. So I'm not even going to try. I am going to end it off here with Halloween Jack. I think I have a couple of other monochrome pieces in my UFO'd whips, but I'm not dipping into those until it's their time. So this will end MonochroMaynia. After, I am going to go to Queen Anne's Lace because I would like to get that finished as well. I think I could probably do it. And so I'm gonna push to that finish as well. I have mapped it out on my calendar that I think I'm gonna have like 12 days or something that I'll be able to give to Queen Anne's lace, and I think that will get her done. So I'm excited. Now, before Cassie says a day and a half on Queen Anne's lace, it's going to take me more than a few days to get that one done. If anything, that might have been the better option for MonochroMaynia than Opus 2 was, because it's just going to be more in-depth than that was. I am on a finish it kick. Last week I showed you Christmas at Winter Cabinet sitting over there telling me to re-FFO it. This week is Opus 2. Next week I'm sure I'll have Halloween Jack finished. Hopefully the next week I'll have Queen Anne's Lace. Keep the finishes rolling. I'm so about it. I'm finishing the smaller things, but nonetheless, I'm excited to have some stuff done. Get these whips done. All right, let's switch over and start talking about some stash. First up in stash, we are actually going to talk about a very sweet gift that I received. So I talked last time about how it had been entirely too long since I had been to my mailbox, and we still didn't go, I think, until Saturday afternoon. Yeah, it was a really long time, so I had a bunch of stuff in there. And not the least of which was a wonderful package from Dawn, Frosty X Stitch. She sent me the sweetest birthday present, and Dawn, I thank you so much. You're so dear to me, and that was amazing. So the first thing you'll see here is that Swans card that looks just so much like In This Moment. That's something else. Maybe that project, maybe In This Moment is going to have to be Mika McKenna. It's getting a little absurd, but nonetheless, very sweet note inside. Thank you for that. She also sent something that I am not ashamed to say is totally gone. She sent some other smaller chocolates, and then these, I'm not even going to pronounce that because I don't want to get it wrong, but they are dark and milk chocolate. They are long gone. Long gone. I don't think they made it between the mailbox and my house. We devoured these. They were so good. And then she also sent a little freebie Prairie Schooler Santa. Super cute. And this is, I guess, the piece de resistance. It's a little bookworm button needle minder. Oh my gosh, he's so cute. He goes on every project because I love him dearly. Those big old glasses, oh my goodness. Oh, it's a she because she's got a flower on her head. Oh my gosh. This is so wonderful. Dawn, thank you for this. He's so cute. I keep calling it a he. Whatever. He's got a flower on his head. That's totally fine. Love that. Dawn, thank you. That's so cool. Okay. Next, what was in my mailbox? My Color and Cotton. So, I get 5. These are the April Color and Cotton. I get 5 of her primitives and 5 of the all colors. So let's go with the primitives first. And this color palette is so happy. So, Wild Oats. There's some grays and some yellows in there. Very faint. Chamois. Chamois. Like a Caucasian skin tone. A little darker than me, because, you know. Winter Prairie. This is beautiful. Like a dusty mauve-y kind of color. Yep. Chestnut. More brown than showing, but definitely has some reddy purple tones to it. And Midnight. Whew, that's showing, it's highly variegated. It's just not that rich. It's not quite that rich, but it is beautifully variegated. Yep, love that. So those are the primitives for April. And then the all colors included a bright, but it's a happy bright. So I'll go through these real quickly because I know that more people get these than they do the primitives. Toucan. That's good. That's a good orange. We have lily pad. You can see the variegation in there, and that's showing up fairly color accurate. I like that. I like how that's showing. Sapphire. Very rich, true blue. Maybe not so bright. A little deeper. Royalty. Fitting, considering Megan had her baby yesterday. And storm clouds, which also timely, considering Virginia weather. Anyway, so those are beautiful, and I love getting my color in cotton, and I look forward to getting to work these in. Okay, next, I enabled myself. Yep. You know it's bad when you enable yourself. Okay, so last week I finished Christmas at Winterberry Cabin. And that got me looking because I thought that I saw another Brenda Gervais pattern similar to this. Maybe not exactly the same, and certainly not in a specific series that Brenda has done, but similar. And what I came up with were two. I couldn't believe it. I was so excited. One of these I couldn't find on 123 Stitch or eBay. I couldn't find it anywhere, and then I found it at Sassy Jack's Stitchery. And so that's where these came from. So this one here is Gardener Goodwitch, and I think that this is the one that I had a hard time finding. But do you see the similarities? We have figure holding something, sign with a date, trees and plants and things, animal with a cart behind him, and a vine. And we have a third. Not exactly the same. The sign has herbs in it. The figure is turned around the other way. But we have a sheep with a cart and the vine. It's a set. Even if it wasn't meant to be, which maybe it was, but it's a set, and I'm so excited about it. So that's why when I finished Christmas at Winterberry Cabin, I went into it looking for a frame rather than a soft finish. And because then I thought, well, I could pop these in and out. This is very spring into summer. This is very autumn, Halloween, and then Christmas. So I thought that I could, swap them in and out. But I had to get a frame that would fit all of them. And I would have had to use 28 count linen for these two in order for the sizing to make sense. Like if I used a 32 count, then it would be smaller and it would look a little silly in a frame that was correctly sized for 28 count. So I realized that I don't have to frame it. It doesn't have to be this pop in and out thing. I could just have 3 soft finishes that come out seasonally. And it's okay that they're a different size. So I can happily stitch these two on 32 count or smaller, and it will be just fine. I'm so excited about this whole prospect. So if you're looking for Gardener Goodwitch, I did find it on Sassy Jack's. Phenomenal. They shipped out, I think, same day. So that was pretty good. I have some more enabling in the mail, and I am so excited about it, you guys. But I'm not going to talk any further about it until it gets here. I went to my mailbox yesterday and it hadn't arrived yet, so hopefully that will be here this week and I can show you to you next week, and I'm so excited. In knitting, like I said, I have just one project to talk about, and it's the only one I didn't talk about last week. A part of the reason I didn't mention it last week is that I had barely anything done, and I have knit on it this week, so it's a little bit bigger, so it's worth showing. But the other reason I didn't show it is that it's a touch controversial. I don't think that that's really the right word, but I'm having a hard time coming up with the right word here. The yarn company that I am using, they have made some mistakes recently. I think based on what I've read, they are working on it. They are working to improve it. I can't say that they have made a complete 180, and there are still improvements yet to be made, but I do think that they are trying. And so for a very short period of time, I swore off this yarn company. I was not going to buy anything more from them. I was going to sell off my stash. I was going to completely part ways with this company. And then the owner of the company made a social media post that meant something, and then they've made more since that were important. So I'm keeping a close eye on this company, and sort of watching what they do moving forward. I determined a long time ago that this yarn and this pattern were going together. The long story short is that my very sweet husband does what sweet husbands do. He tries to annoy me with things. For instance, he gets stuck on these words and he just says them all the time. And it starts to drive me a little batty, so he starts saying it more. Lately it's been board game things. So one of his favorite board games is called Lisboa. It's about the rebuilding of Lisbon. It's one of his absolute favorites. And he says Lisboa all the time, like in answers to completely unrelated questions. Babe, what do you want to have for dinner? Lisboa. It's such a ham, right? Okay. His brother, who's the one who got him into these board games, one of his favorite board games is Yokohama. And he got into the habit of saying, Yoko, thank you, Yokohama. And Danny latched onto that like a lifeboat in the middle of the ocean. To the point where for a while there, he was replacing thank you in everyday conversation with anybody with Yoko, thank you, Yokohama. So one day I'm on Eat Sleep Knit, perusing, window shopping, as you do, and I found this yarn called Yoko. The colorway is named Yoko. And I thought, oh my goodness, this is coming together beautifully. And then Lisa Hands, I'm never sure, she released a pattern called Afternoon in Lisbon. But it's a speckled yarn and it would not work very well with that pattern, so I let that go. Okay. So I put this colorway aside and I thought, table it for now. I'll think about it and we'll see what happens. A couple weeks later, this colorway is being discontinued and Eat Sleep Knit has it on discount. And I was like, oh my goodness, I need to get some, but I have no idea what I'm going to do with it. It must have been the next day or 2 days in a very short period of time. I saw this design as a new release. The designer is Webster Street Knittery, and that designer is Jen. And I have followed her stuff for a while. I just really like her aesthetic. And then, almost shortly thereafter, seeing her rough mock-up of it, I saw Lizzie+6 on Instagram. She was one of the test knitters, and her finished piece stopped me dead in my tracks. Like, oh my goodness, this thing is beautiful. So the name of the pattern is the Woolberry Wrap, and I'll insert a preview here of what it will look like finished. It's beautiful. It's big. It's like 1,200 yards, and it works very nicely with a speckled yarn and a contrasting yarn. And so I thought, oh, this is how I use my Yoko yarn. But then all of this happened with the company, and I was a little bit downtrodden about it. I was like, you know what? I can't do this. Like, I can't give money to this company. Well, then they started making moves to work on their culture and to work on their values and how they present themselves to knitters at large. This is a huge company. It's arguably one of the more popular dyers, at least that I have come into contact with. I have used their stuff a lot. I have a lot in stash. A lot of people they only knit from this dyer. Like, it's a very close following. So I had to see that they were making improvements before I could buy this yarn. I had to see if they were genuine and honest and open and available for questions. They haven't made like I said, they haven't made the 180. But they are making improvements, I think. So I'm going to knit this. And I am going to use this yarn. And I'm going to be less inclined to gravitate towards this dyer in the future. I'm going to be looking at some smaller companies, some smaller hand dyers. And I'll be less inclined to gravitate towards this company in the future. Unfortunately, there is something to a name of a colorway, and Danny was in such support of it, so here we are. Okay, so here is my very meager little start on the Woolberry wrap. And so it starts off as a shell triangle, and then once I reach a certain point, I'll start knitting in one direction and then the other. And I think that this is beautiful. So far, it's working out pretty nice like. I love that this has a 4-stitch edge. It's just got a heftier edge than most of the shawls that I knit, and I like that. I'm a big fan. So, the yarn is Madeleine Tush. And this is Yoko. And it's now a discontinued colorway. This is Twist Light, which is, I believe it's 100% superwash merino. It's a plied yarn. And it's lovely and speckled. And I have it paired with, this is also Twist Light in Oscuro, which means dark. So dark chocolate. It's got, definitely it has a red tone to it. But I like it. I like it. So, as I said, this thing is going to be big. So I have 3 skeins of Yoko, 1 of Oscuro, and I am knitting it using, I think these are US 5s. Yes, US 5s. This is the project that I talked about last time. This is the back of it. I think I talked about it last time, or a couple weeks ago. One of the projects that I wanted to cast on immediately, but I didn't have yarn for. This. That was this one. Anyway, so there is my Woolberry wrap, and I will knit it and go from there. So there's that. So that is the end of the knitting, which means we're here at the end of the video. Pretty quick like, huh? At least for me, comparatively speaking. Anyway, I just want to say thank you all for watching. If you're new, then thank you for checking me out, and I hope that you will come back in the weeks to come. If you're a returning viewer, then thank you so much. You guys are the greatest. I'm going to head off here, get this edited. Everybody take care. Happy stitching. As always, be kind. I'll see you next time.